we'll have a look at that later. This particular model is an 8GB RAM and 128GB of ROM, so we've got 128GB of internal storage on this to put films and whatever we want. As I said, this is the Android 13 version, so let's open it up and have a look what you get in the box. Opening it up, we get the box itself. We'll have a look at that in a second. In the bottom, we've got a few more bits here as well. USB to USB, this is dependent on what type of connection is in your vehicle. This one is USB-C. You get a USB-A to USB-C as well. You've got either USB-C or USB-A in your vehicle. This one looks like a mini HDMI to a normal HDMI connector for the HD output. Also in the box, you get a little key to take out the SIM card because this is also a 4G version. And we've got a user manual telling you about the box and how to use it. Looking at the unit itself, on the front it says Carlinkit there. It's got a little strip that lights up across the front. Right in there, I don't know if you can see it, we've got a little hole where you can poke this key in, and that's for a reset. You don't actually need this key for the SIM card. This is just for this reset button here. Right, we are in the car. This is a 2019 Hyundai Tucson. This is a standard car stereo system. Down here is where I normally plug in the Apple CarPlay. This USB port here is where I plug in the phone if I want the Apple CarPlay running. So this only supports wired CarPlay. So what we can do is if we take the Carlinkit AI box, I can plug it in via USB down here. I'll plug it in there. I'll just dump that there for now and let that start up. What I have done, I've put a SIM card in it, so we should have internet connection all the time on that, even without a phone. Right, if we have a look up here now, as you can see, it's lit up now CarPlay. So if I wanted to go into CarPlay, I would press that. And then this is now into the home screen of this device. As you can see on the front, we've got a pretty light lit up. Currently, I've not got a phone connected to this at all. This is literally just running off of the 4G network on the SIM card. Let me set up this camera on a tripod and let's go through what this looks like. Right, so one of the main things you can see is as soon as it's started up now, this is into the home screen that you'd get when it starts up. One of the main things you can see is instead of just looking like this with some apps and things, this has actually got a live panel. This is one of the things that I liked in the old Carlinkit system, and it's also on this one, as I can see. This in itself, as I said before, this in itself is enough to get me to stop using CarPlay altogether. As it stands now, it's not even connected to a phone. It's got a SIM card in it. It's got the navigation working, so we've got internet and everything else. Obviously, you can get the same if you connect it to your phone, but I just wanted to go through as it is now, actually not connected to a phone at all. You've got your navigation panel set up there straight away, so you've always got navigation on, so you're always going to see your speed cameras and things like that, depending on what you're using. You can change this. If we go into settings down here, if we scroll down, look to their navigation setup, you can change this to a different application. So if I go down to Waze there, and I can change it to that, change this one as well. Click OK, go back to the home screen. You'll see now the navigation is set up as Waze. This is absolutely fantastic layout. It's a shame more of these AI boxes don't do this kind of home screen with this live panel, but these ones do, and I do really like those. Whilst we're on this screen, if we press and hold any of these 4 apps here, as you can see there, you can get rid of those and change it and bring in a new application. So if I press the plus, I can bring in any application I want. Say I want Netflix, and then I've got Netflix set up on there. So this is like a little shortcut area that's set up over on the left. On the top left up here, this is your now playing. Obviously we've just discussed this. This is your live panel. You can set this up to whatever you want. Down the right hand side, there's your last used applications, and down at the bottom here is your full application list. So if we go back to the home screen, let's have a quick look at some of the settings. You've got your usual settings for Wi-Fi, Bluetooth, everything else. If you press more, this is your standard Android settings. Whilst we're here, you see this little dot. You can press and hold and move it around to wherever you want. This is like a little shortcut button. So if I press that, then you've got your home and back, and you can go into multiple displays and things like that, all from that button. That always sits there, and when it's not in use, it kind of fades away. but you've got quite a few little shortcuts and things from there. If you go to display settings, we've got the LED colour settings. That's for that little coloured bar that's on the front of the actual unit itself. We've got it now so it just scrolls through a few different colours slowly. A floating button, which we've just spoke about, you can turn that off if it gets on your nerves. And then we've got some few other different types. You've got a launcher style there, so you can change the entire look of how it looks. So if we do the other style, this is back to the classic kind of display that you normally see across these type of devices. But obviously we don't want that one. We want the one with the live panel. That's much better. So if I find settings again, go back to the other launcher style, this is the one I like, with the live panel. Obviously, one of the advantages of this system, one of the main advantages of the system, should I say, apart from the CarPlay, AutoKit does the CarPlay and the Android Auto. We'll have a look at that in a second. But obviously, one of the biggest advantages is you've got the Play Store. So you can download any apps that you want. For example, if we go across to the apps, there's a few I've downloaded there. I think I've downloaded Netflix and a few others. We've got Subway Surf there. Let's start that. So if you want to play a game on this system, you can even do that. As you can see, it's nice and responsive, and it's working perfectly fine. So if you want to play games, you can even play games on it. I'm doing quite good at this, aren't I? Right, so back out of there. And obviously, along with the applications, comes the usual streaming services. If you're parked up and you want to watch YouTube or anything like that, you so can. As you can see there, we've got a nice... Hey, Joe, let me turn that down so you're not listening to me twice. But as you can see there, we've got a nice HD display, and you can watch Netflix or anything else or any of the other streaming services you so wish. We use this little shortcut button to get back. So without going into loads of detail about everything and just boring everybody, you've got a fully fledged Android system there. The next thing we can do is we can connect the phone to it and start up the CarPlay system. You see there down at the bottom, we've got T-Box Ambient. So if I click on that to pair it, allow, obviously you only have to do this once. If we go into AutoKit now, and what it should do is it should connect and start up the CarPlay. Ignore that, that's my vehicle telling me I'm reusing my battery. As you can see there, we're straight into the CarPlay, just like normal. So if anybody that's used to CarPlay, this is how I normally run in the CarPlay screen. But as you can see there, you've got everything like you normally have in your CarPlay, and it's exactly the same for the Android Auto. And as you can see, we're running wireless. To get back to the Carlinkit software, if I press that car there, that takes us straight back and we go back into the Carlinkit software. So I think what I'll do now is let's go back home, let's get in the camper, let's plug in this HDMI second screen bit. I've got no second screens in this vehicle, but in the camper I've got another screen, so we can have a look at a decent use for this HD output. So let's go and I'll see you back in the camper in a minute. Right, here we are in the camper. Let's pretend this Car Pure Ride system here is our CarPlay in the vehicle. I've got the box plugged in there, look, as you can see it's all powered up and the lights have come on. And then I've plugged in the HDMI there, and I've plugged that straight in to my TV over there in the camper. So this is your second display. If I move this here, so we can see them both at the same time, so you can see what I mean. This is now mirroring the display. So whatever we do on here is mirrored to the second display there. So what you can do is if you're wanting to play anything for the kids in the back seats or something like that, then you can put it on. We seem to have lost 4G connection here for some reason. Right, there we are, we've got internet back again now. I'm connected to Wi-Fi. As you can see, the picture's coming out of both of them now. So what you can do is if you've got a camper like this, let me just pause this so I'm not hearing myself twice. It does actually project the sound to that television as well. I've got it muted at the minute because it's quite loud, that one. But what you can actually do is if you've got, say, a CarPlay stereo in the front and that's wired up to your living batteries, use that as a touch screen and display into this screen here as a second display. Or in your car, you can have the rear headrest screens and use those as a second display there. Right, one thing you can do using the little shortcut button as well, you know, the little little round circle thing. If you press that and go to this split screen display, then what it'll do is it'll split it between the two screens. So you can have the streaming services playing on one screen, and you can have your navigation and everything on your screen at the back.